Hey you! Thanks for showing up. Let's have a look at set 75345, 501st Battle Pack, and see if it's worth it. Alright, so the set comes in at $25. It has 119 pieces, making out at 21 cents per piece. The set also includes 4 individual minifigures that we'll highlight later in the video. Now, for the backside, you can just see some play features. That's about it. Alright, so if we open the box, you'll see that there's 3 total bags, one for the minifigures and turret, as well as for the externals of the minifigures. So at the heart of every battle pack are the minifigures. And in this case, you get 4 very solid 501st Clone Troopers. To be specific, you get 1 officer, 1 specialist, and 2 heavy troopers. The officer has the least interesting accessories with just a simple handgun and only printed waist capes. The backing side of the character is also pretty shallow, making the least interesting out of the 4. However, the specialist has an interesting visor, good printing details, and a long, interesting sniper rifle. This visor can also be flipped open, giving the character greater playability. The backing side is also pretty shallow, but far more interesting in total than the officer. Yet my favorites are the heavy troopers, with great printing details, and both of them having a visor that you can flip open, giving the character even greater playability. But my favorite thing about this character is the backhand side with the backpack. That's in fact a printed 1x1 tile that you can add to your character for greater details. And this is the second half of your battle pack, which is the cannon/turret. Overall, I'd say it's a mediocre build. Here's why. I do like the adjustable and movable legs, and I also like how the shaft moves over into the rest of the body of the cannon/turret, but overall I'd say I have 2 big critique points, which are this exposed stud shooter that just looks silly, and the many gaps that you have with this build. One is here in the center, and as you move and tilt the turret, you can see that there's a lot of gaps all around here, and that this big heavy part of the turret is just held up by these 2 tiny exposed pins. So overall, I think this gives off more of a childish impression, not something that would carry great firepower. Nonetheless, it does have good play features, which is the stud shooter that you can just simply trigger off like that, and the fact that you can place one of your troopers in this seat right here. So overall, I'd say it's a mediocre build that rounds off the battle pack, nonetheless, quite nicely. Nice question of the evening. Should you buy this set? Well, my answer is yeah. And here's why. You get 4 very solid figures. Yeah, maybe the officer is a little more shallow than the rest, but the set really makes up for it within the detail of the heavy troopers. The printing details look great, and they have a 1x1 printed tile as a backpack. And the set itself also is really well rounded off with the turret. This thing looks like a cannon, looks like a turret. It offers great playability within the set, but something like this should carry lots of firepower, and I want to see that within the structure and the build. And this thing looks a little bit more flimsy and childish with the many gaps that it has. Nonetheless, it really rounds off the set quite well. So, if you want to have 501st Clone Troopers in 2025, this is your best bet. And if you're like me, a sharp guy, you'll buy it at a discount for roughly 20 bucks, and then you get really good value for your money. So, I look forward to seeing you at my next review. Until then, stay safe. Goodbye.